Hi, I'm Brad Herlock, your host of the Garage Grit podcast, sponsored by AA Shop Marketing, a digital marketing company for auto repair shops. And today, who we have in front of us is part of the next Origin Impact series, the Austins from Austin Spencer Collision. And we're going to be talking about their history, where they're at, the next generation, and how they're servicing their community and the impact that they've had. So thank you very much. Alan and Shanley, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you guys, appreciate your time. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your shop? Alan, how about you give us a start?
Uh, Trying to fix a couple cars in the driveway at home. And my father
Okay.
said, "Oh, I'll get you a job. I got a guy that I know that runs a body shop and I'll get you a job there." And that's basically how we got started. I was working for another collision shop for about 5 years when I decided to branch off and get started. And my father was a Kodak engineer. He just said, he had nothing. He said he'd get most of his money back in taxes if it went through, if it fell through. And at the time I was 20 years old, and he said, you really don't have anything to lose. So if this works, it'd be great. If it doesn't, we'll just keep moving.
You started working at that body shop when you were 15 or when you were 20?
I started working in another body shop when I was probably 16.
15, 16. Okay, got it. And then you started the your own shop, and your family helped fund the startup when you were in your
Yes,
early
yeah,
20s?
yeah. My father went out, bought a build. We looked around, bought a building, and bought a bunch
Nice.
of equipment to get started with, and we just kept growing from there.
And what was the relationship like between your old boss and you after you left?
Oh, we're still real good friends. We still played.
I love it.
I still played softball on his team, and we get together. And I still keep in touch with him.
Perfect. I love it. I love it. So I often have seen examples of how sometimes the best employees are the ones that want to go out on their own eventually. Like they have that kind of drive, that kind of motivation, and they're really, they're working hard because they've got that dream on the other end. And so you can't hope for them to be with you for the next, don't get me wrong. We also love employees that have been with us for 30 or 40 years, diligently working. But sometimes when you're in the hiring process, you see someone who's really motivated, it's because they want to have their own shop one day. And I kind of feel like jump on that opportunity. You're going to have a great worker for those 5 years, just eating everything up. So, and it's great that you are still friends with him today. That's fun. So you're playing softball and maybe even golfing with him.
Yep, yep, yep,
Nice.
yep. And actually, the gentleman that started it passed away, but he had 15 kids
Okay.
and 11 boys, and I keep in touch with a lot of them.
Nice.
So
Okay. All right. Good. So, all right. So tell me about how your shop has kind of evolved since you were 20. At the same location. Tell me the whole story. Go ahead.
yeah, we start out. I'm still at the same location. Start out with 2 bays, and then we added on. We started out in '82, and then we probably in '85 we added on and added 3 more rooms to the building, and that kept going well. And then we eventually rented the building behind us, which is the bigger building. And then that was kept going well, and then we ended up opening up a couple other shops in the in Monroe County area. And then over the years, I had a partner, James Spencer, and over the years we figured out that one shop wasn't working real well, but the other one was. We moved a few times and stuff, but anyways, with my partner for probably 30 years, and then we finally got divorced, and he kept the shop that was out in Victor, and I kept the business that was in Henrietta.
Okay. And just so people have a kind of a point of reference, we are talking about South Rochester, New York. And so what is Shanley, what is the population like there? What are we looking at for your market?
In Rochester, there's about 211,000 people. In Henrietta, specifically where we are, there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of people. It's a very busy town. Um, so we've got locals that come in from Henrietta, but then we also have people who used to go to the shop out in Victor, that now come over to us because the shop in Victor got sold out to Gerber or Garber, one of the two. And people, our customer base is a lot of likes the whole family centric visual small shop ownership and gets that personal experience rather than more of a corporate one.
Okay. Is there anything in particular that either of you could describe that helps you foster that family experience? I mean, other than the fact that you share the last name, right? Other than the fact that it's obvious, when you first walk in, as far as who owns it and versus a large conglomerate. What types of interactions are we talking about that have you stand out?
I think we could talk endlessly about this aspect. I think that when people come in, it's very clear that we're a small shop. We and what we do well at is treating customers like we're not trying to. I feel like dealerships are more just larger companies in general. You don't get that personal experience where you feel trust and like, oh, they're doing it for me and not so that they can make money. Whereas like when you come in, it's not about the money for me and my dad. It's about actually helping you. Like we have a um genuine way of wanting to help people and seeing other people get screwed over by their own insurance companies. That's another big push for it too, is like half my job is dealing with insurance companies, and nothing makes me more angry than an insurance company who wants to just take advantage of their customer who pays them monthly for this specific service, and then they make everyone's job so much harder just to save a dime, it feels like. And so like that's also another big motive, is like I'm here to help you, and like I want to help you not just by fixing your car, but by helping you navigate through the whole insurance claim process. Because 95% of customers, that's just a random number, but an assumption, uh, they don't know what to do when you get in a car accident. Like everyone has a doctor that they go to, everyone has like a dentist, but no one has a car dealership or auto body shop, initially at least, until you find the one that you like. So when it happens, the first person you go to is your insurance company, and your insurance company isn't telling you isn't telling you what's best for you. They're telling you what's best, what they want you to do. They want you to go to a direct repair shop because they save money on it. They want and so like a lot of what me and my dad do is we have a conversation with them. We feel for them, and we try and explain to them, I know your insurance company said this, but the reason they say this is because of they want this, but you actually have the choice. Like, oh, they didn't mention a rental car to you, but you are the claimant. You get a rental car for free 30 days, and you don't have to pay a dime. Like some of the stuff that insurance doesn't explain to them, it's aggravating. And so it's more of like the want to help rather than work with the insurance company to make the most money off of you type of.
Do you end up having to look at the individual policies as far as your company? Like I imagine that the 30 days, for example, that you said, as far as the loaner car, like that, I would imagine that varies from policy to policy or from company to company.
I don't think
They're basically all this. They're all the same. I mean, all they're doing is looking out for themselves, and they want you to go to their shop so that they can keep some money in their pocket. And I don't. I'll be honest with you, I don't think they really care about their customer at all.
I, and I do have to say that there are definitely times where I have asked, like, can I see your policy? Because some of the things that they say their insurance company told them is like, well, like, if they're being that specific about it, and like not pushing for anything, giving you any other option, like, okay, like, I'm gonna do the extra digging to help you.
Nice. And there's a good example, and it kind of, Alan, echoes what you just said as far as the large insurance companies. It's a large wheel that they process through. And in fact, there are plenty of insurance companies that they really work hard to deny claims at first, or their words are managing the losses, right? And so I think the fact that you're willing to even look at someone's policy to help them figure out what their next steps are or what their options are shows that you are taking that extra level, that you've learned that if you help your customers, if you're actually helping your customers, it's not about profit or about making money. Of course, you're still charging them a fee, but if you're helping first, then it all works out. Whereas the insurance companies, they're all about just collecting that, the premium and minimizing their expense out. So, right there is a big difference between a small company that's trying to help others and a large company that's just trying to pay attention to the shareholders screaming at them. So, what if the insurance company says we're only going to pay, or it's a total loss because of the ADAS calibration, or because, it's just going to be too expensive to repair the front bumper. And they give you find out what the total loss amount is. What do you do in that situation if you find that wait, that doesn't seem right. That's way too small of a number.
If they're going to total something out or whatever, first thing I'll tell the customers is get online and start researching, find out what your car is worth. And to make sure that when you get, the insurance company calls you, you've done some homework, and that you say, hey, we just recently had a gentleman that had a Honda Pilot, and that they totaled it, and they said, oh, we're going to give you $16,000 for it. And I said, wait a minute. And the customer did his homework and said, I can't find anything within, 100 miles from where I am for less than 18,500, whatever. So they finally agreed to the price that he was going to have to pay to get another one. And then I'm looking at him like, there's only $13,000 worth of, not even, I think $11,000 is what I charged him to repair it. So he decided to keep the car, and they paid him. Well, they paid him out 18,000 minus his deductible and minus his salvage value, which was like 3,000, whatever. He ended up with about $14,000, and I wrote an estimate and fixed his car for 11,500, and he kept his car. Now it was an older Honda, so it did not get branded. But if it's less than 7 years old, the state wants to brand them, which means you got to take it and get it inspected, which costs you a couple $100 as well. But then you end up with a salvage title. But again, if you're going to drive the car till it's got 150,000 miles or more, and the salvage title doesn't really mean that much, because it's not going to be worth that much more once it hits 150,000 miles anyways. So
That's interesting. I'm still putting my mind around that there's a whole group of people that get rid of cars. Of course there is, because it's only been recently that I've driven a car with less than 150,000 miles. I've always been the guy that wanted to buy a car for cash and drive it for another 100,000 miles after it's already had 100,000 miles.
right.
And then just, it was just made more sense to me than buying a newer car. But, I found that when you're toting a family around, you got to kind of change the rules a little bit. You can't be kind of setting yourself up to break down on the side of the road. Girls get mad about that. So weird. But,
That
Well,
also,
I'll tell you what. I mean, the cars go 150, 200,000 miles now.
yeah, right. Right. No, but a personal story though. My 1-year-old was asleep in the car. I was driving a high mileage Jeep, and I actually heard part of the transmission fall out of the vehicle and land on the highway. I heard that I couldn't shift anymore. I got myself into a gas station and called somebody because I was too far away. I was about 12, 14 miles away from home. I couldn't carry my 1-year-old that far. That would have been awkward. But anyway, when it was just me, before I had a family, it was a scenario where I could just, who cared if I had to walk 10, 15 miles? It's no big deal. I was healthy enough. But just have the sneakers in the car. But now, yeah. So I had to kind of increase my, it was a Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, yeah, we can make all sorts of jokes as far as all the oil that they burn and all the other ongoing things. But that's kind of what I've been driving for a while now. So now I have a newer one. I just like the utilitarian value of throwing stuff in the back and always having stuff in the back. But the golf clubs have been replaced with my son's football pads, I guess. So it is what it is. But back to you guys as far as handling the claims and dealing with customers that way. What about on the repair side? Are you able to have that same type of foster that same type of relationship, facilitate that same type of bond?
You mean with like our techs or?
Well, just how your team in general is interfacing with the customers. There's no insurance to be made to talk to when you're talking about just replacing brakes or replacing the water pump or the head gaskets in the Jeep. So how do you establish that type of relationship on the repair side? What are you doing to, like, you gave an example for the insurance side, on the collision side. What about on the repair side?
I get a lot of customers that go to like Monroe Muffler or Jiffy Lube or whatever, and they'll come out with a grocery list of everything they need to fix. And I'm like, come over here with that list and let's put the car on a lift and we'll get it together. And out of the 12 items that they said it needed to be addressed, maybe 1 or 2 of them actually needed to be addressed. The other, a lot of these companies are paid on sales and are sanitized. A lot of these guys are just selling stuff to people they don't need. And I guess where people like to see me is like, hey, I'll bring it in, show you what's actually going on, and we'll just fix what actually needs to be done instead of selling you all kinds of other crap that's not needed.
I can attest to that too, where people will get their car inspected at a dealership and the inspection will fail and they come with $2,000 worth of work that they need to do to be able to pass inspection. And then they bring it over to us and we look at it and it's like, here's your car, you passed inspection, $21. Everything passed, but you might want to get your brakes looked at soon. You've got this amount of miles. Like until you start hearing it grind, then bring it back and we'll get those fixed. That's I'd say from the repair side, people gain their trust through things like that, definitely.
Yeah. But I think that last part's important, right? You say, hey, listen, you don't need to replace the brakes today, but you've probably got, based on your mileage, you probably have another month or, X, 500 more miles or 1,000 miles. And so start budgeting for that because that's going to be a Y dollar cost to you, right? As far as what the cost is going to be.
Yeah.
I think people appreciate that as opposed to being a surprise type, like you said, a $2,000 bill just to have the inspection. And that's what the inspections cost is $20 or is it $200? I didn't
20. It's either $21 or if it's just the emissions, then it's $10. Is that correct, Dad?
If it's a new car that's a year old or less, it's $10. Anything over a year, hook it up to the computer and then they scan it and run it to make sure there's no engine lights on and stuff like that. And that's your $21.
Okay. And is that a statewide issue or is there also county or local restrictions?
That's New York State.
New York State. So the at $10, you're losing money.
Yeah,
You've spent more than $10 worth of labor
Right.
to process
But-
that car.
The whole idea of doing inspections to begin with, because you're not making money at $21 either. You know, you got to pay a tech, you got to bring it in. It takes, 20 minutes or so. But you've got the customer there. That's your opportunity to, make them feel good about bringing their car to you and comfortable and being honest with them and saying, hey, you passed now, but, within, 2 months or so, you're going to need brakes, and, brakes are typically between $500 and $600.
Right.
Let us know when you want to bring it in and stuff. But so it's just, it's a selling, it's the opportunity to make a sale,
But
to earn the trust of a customer.
yes, I think that's where we differ and other small shops differ from like dealerships or larger companies. Like when a car, when you get your inspection done at a dealership, you're being handed a $2,000 bill saying
They're incentivized. They get paid. The tech and stuff gets incentivized to sell stuff, and
whereas
Right.
and it's
whereas
not necessary.
yeah, so then when they come to us, it's like, it's not really like, oh, a selling point where here we're going to charge them all this stuff. It's like, as soon as you can make a customer trust you and realize like, we're not doing it to make money off of you, because so many people have no idea about cars or their car, or like, they just don't know. So you could tell them anything and they'd say, okay. But, and I think that's a big problem in the automotive industry. And I think that's like the gap that we're trying to fix. And at least like, I just think trust with a customer goes much, much further than the $2,000 that they can give you that one time. Instead of that one time coming to you, you have a customer for life, and probably other customers because they're word of mouth.
So I want to keep talking about this experience and this perspective, because I've talked to plenty of shops whose attitude is everything that comes in, everything gets inspected, and then everything gets presented to the customer, allowing them to choose
Yeah.
what to buy and what not to buy. But there are times when that culture ends up trying to push, and I'm going to call it a red, yellow, and green, right? The green is it's fine. It's good for the next 2 years, maybe, right? The yellow is something that's on the immediate horizon, or maybe in the next couple months. And then the red is things that need to be taken care of today, right? Those are the kind of the classification. We'll refer to that type of a system. And I think there's a lot of times when shops are really focused on, as you referred to it, as just selling and incentivized to sell as much of the yellow, even some of the green, if possible. And you're saying we only address the red and we mention the next yellow step and leave it at that. Or do you mention all the next yellow steps? How far do you go and let them know about the picture of their, of their car in the next year?
It
Go on.
depends on the customer. Some customers are really, really, engineers and stuff really want to know everything. Other customers are just, let us know, not a big deal or whatever. But it's you kind of have to read the customer a little bit and say, oh, this guy's really into it, and I'm gonna spend a little more time with him because he's gonna want it. Where other customers are like, hey, I trust you. Just go ahead and tell me when I need to do it and when I should bring it in and stuff.
Alan, how often are you the one interfacing with that customer, or is it your team? Is it Shanley and her team?
Daily, all the time. I mean,
You are the one interfacing with them directly.
not always, but I have a couple other that work in the front office, but I'm in the front office when they're there too.
Okay.
I've got a gentleman who handles most of the mechanical stuff, and then I have a tailor who helps you out with the collision side of it.
Okay. All right. And those are people in the front office.
Yep. But, I've
Okay.
been working with Ben a long time, and Ben knows, hey, we're not just pushing stuff to sell. We're,
Right.
let's do what's needed and
Yep.
work on building a relationship and have them come back for future repairs.
Was that the extent of the lesson plan for Ben? That's all you needed to communicate, or was there a little bit more handholding and development of his role over a period of years? How long and how long has he been with you? Go ahead.
Shanley?
He's been with us for probably, would you say 3 years?
No, probably 2 now. Anyways.
2. Okay. Yeah. Not too long. And it was there was definitely training, like when a lot of what you learn is asking the mechanic, like, okay, so this is what's wrong with the car. What do I tell the customer? At least, like, that's how I learned when I was sitting in his position. And then a lot of it is you got to hire for personality. You can always train someone. Well, you can always train
Yes. Yes.
people
It's
with
easier to train
more
knowledge than it is to train personality, right?
Yes.
It's hard to train personality. Yes.
Yeah, you can't. So, like, if they have the same mindset as you, then they're going to act and greet customers and speak with customers the same way, just because of their personality. So you just have to trust them there, and also it's so hard to train employees at in a small shop when you got a million things going on. That's something that I'm currently trying to have more of a process to in general. But if they have the personality and you're just thrown in with the wolves, then you'll pick it up, and if me or my father see anything or hear anything that makes you take a second guess, like, okay, then that's where you go and you talk to the employee and see where their head's at and whatnot. But Taylor, for example, with the collision side, when she came in, she actually was my friend prior to this company, and she did not work in the automotive industry at all. And when she came, but I know that she has potential for learning anything. She's very capable. And so when she came in, I put extra time into her. I showed her the way that I do everything, and especially just because, no offense, Dad, but the technology aspect of things, I didn't want her to I wanted another person to work with that is good with technology and knows, like, if they have an understanding as to why they're inputting something in this way rather than just being told, do it this way. If they have an understanding why, then they're much more likely to do it that way every single time. So spending time with her, she knows more about cars than I do now. She's on top of it. I can trust her talking to any customer. I can trust her with handling really anything, which is a really feeling, because that's difficult to come by. I don't know if I got off topic there at all, but
No, that was perfect. All right. So let's see here. There's an echo somewhere. We're going to look into that. I guess the echo went away for a second. It was there. Were you guys hearing it as well?
Mine did
No?
it for a second.
Okay. I'm going to have our producer take a look at that at the 29-minute mark. Okay. Back to our conversation here. All right. So no, you weren't off topic at all. This is good. You've created a picture where Ben and Taylor, is it, I believe, are kind of the leads in interfacing with the customers, and then you are there as the support behind them. So what's nice is then you're able to be out of the office for a little bit without it falling down.
Eh. My dad
Yep.
is very much involved still.
Okay.
He's got his side jobs that no one knows about that'll pop up here and there.
Oh, like what? Alan, come on, give me an example.
So there's a term, an FOA, a friend of Alan, and at one point there's business cards saying FOA, friend of Alan, no appointment required. So as a joke, because when someone comes in, oh, Alan told me to come in, and it's like, oh, okay, like you immediately know it's like, it's not on the schedule. He didn't tell anyone about it, but we gotta help him.
That's funny. That's nice. I like it. It's a powerful marketing tool, right? I mean, you're giving them concierge, front of the line treatment, and they're going to come in that way. Okay.
That's something I do
nice.
not recommend, though.
No, I can't.
I just want to make that clear for everyone else's sake.
There are shops that operate completely on an as come as serve a first come first serve basis. I was talking with a shop just yesterday, and two things that jumped out at me that were very interesting. One, in 2024, they finally went away from paper. All of their tickets and everything were all pen and paper until just last year. And Alan, that gives you comfort, doesn't it? You're probably in that. Do you also have everything in paper, and then you started to get pushed towards different programs, or what was? Did you resist when that happened?
My daughter got involved.
Okay, all right.
We're trying to.
Okay.
We got rid of a lot of stuff.
So that's something that is a hard transition because yes, when I first started working here, every folder, so I've got an example right here. This is the folder, and every single time a customer called, you got to get up, get their folder, and on the notes section right here, every single thing that or event that happened or customer interaction that happened goes and is written right on this folder. So handwritten notes on the folder, and we use a system, CCC estimating, and it has for each RO a tab, a notes tab that you just type in. Okay, like you don't have to get up, get the folder or anything. You just write in the notes. So that was a big, I thought it was a very efficient, everyone would be on board change, but that one hit a spark with a couple of my dad and the long-term employees that have been there. But it has switched over to notes completely in the system. But now for things my dad is working on, there's usually a lack of notes in the file. So it's
Alan, come on, your words per minute is probably what, at least 70? You probably type it out looking at the keyboard and and just keep going, right? I mean, it's I'm
just trying
I'm kidding.
Trying to teach an old dog new tricks.
Well, yeah. Yes, I do understand. And
I'm coming
I'm
around.
glad I'm glad you're willing to laugh about it. But I'm actually able to type without looking at the keyboard, but not everybody can do that. And if you're not actually in front of the keyboard on a regular basis, right, that's a whole different thing. But those notes on those folders, you couldn't look at them from your iPhone. And I imagine that you can, because it's probably cloud-based, the system that you're using, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so now everyone has access to that information without having to go to the metal filing cabinet in the office area. So
yeah, we got rid of a lot of I got rid of a lot of file cabinets. Wow. We cleaned out a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely.
You got to convert them to like gun lockers and those types of things.
Yeah. Good locker.
Anyway, no. So how many years ago was that? How many years ago did you make that switch?
That was probably 5 years ago. That was like when the first year that I started working there, that was a pretty immediate. I just couldn't, because I'm not, if I'm getting a customer phone call, I'm not writing detailed notes on the folder. Like, it was not efficient at all. It was something that
Yeah.
stuck out right away to me. But
Yeah.
it happened 5 years ago. Everything it works much better, and everyone's kind of on board with the notes on the system. It's the easiest way. You could do it from your phone. You could do it on the desktop. It automatically dates it, and it tells who wrote the note. So it's not like you have to write you don't have to initial it or write a date down. It's very trackable,
Right. Right. And it's considerably more efficient.
reliable. Yeah.
It's more efficient than those old large books that you had to go through to figure out, okay, what is this type of a car and what kind of repair I'm doing? And then you had to look up the number of hours and the parts that needed. Alan, do you remember going through those books to try to find?
Yeah, are you old enough to know about them?
I'm old enough. I'm not experienced them, but I know about them.
Yeah.
So that didn't really answer your question, I guess. But yeah. So anyway, I've talked to a lot of people. How about that? But I just like the mind is when I think about the speed of information that's available to everybody now, right? And so
It's crazy.
I was the other day, I was again. This is actually I'm going to move away a little bit from the purpose of the call and tell you a quick story. The other day, I was actually adding mortar to some cracks in our back patio. And I insisted that my son come out so that I could teach him what I was doing, why I was doing, and how it was happening. And and I said, this way, when you own a house one day, you won't be completely left in the dark. It's Dad, I'll just YouTube video it and I'll find out what I need to do then. I don't need to know this right now. And so that conversation, he's not wrong. And I said, sit here anyway. He didn't like that, but he got over that, right? So at least now you know which YouTube video to look at. How about that? But yeah, the information is so readily available. The amount of time that you can spend doing repairs as opposed to handwriting notes or looking things up is significant. You're doing more of the work now than you were, which is good. That's a good thing. We talked about the staff up front. Talk to me a little bit about the team that you have in the technicians, the body techs, the mechanics. What have you got going on there?
Dan?
No. So yeah, couple body guys, and they're very, very efficient. I mean, they do enough. The 2 guys do enough work, as much work as 4 guys would normally do. So, and then my mechanics are, I've got an probably B level tech and an A level tech. And B level tech's great. The A level techs, they get a little high and mighty sometimes, and it can be a little more difficult to work with. But you know, they're good at it though. I mean, you gotta respect them, and they've got, holy cow, they have money invested in tools. It's unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, I think my lead metal or mechanic, I think his toolbox was like $47,000. It's gigantic, and he's got every toy you can think of. And then he's got all the computers and stuff too. It's changing all the time.
And for our body techs, our painter, he also does body work, which is right now we're looking to have another body tech just because we need more for the amount of work that we have. But at the same time, it is exactly what my dad said. Like, our 2 that we have, they are very good at what they do. They're very efficient with time. They get it done. They've been with my dad for, I don't even know how long.
It's
Like
decades.
10,
Yeah.
20 years. I mean, 15.
And one of them, our main body tech, he's salary. we put him on salary because it just was easier. We needed more help rather than it's because we were lacking parts persons. So like all the parts, everything wasn't lined up for him right away, and that would cause obvious frustration.
Mm,
And
sure.
and then we would try and hire other techs, but they needed more training. So it was a matter of okay, here, if we put you on salary, will you be willing to help train these other techs at the same time as get the other stuff done? And he's been on salary since. It's honestly, it's been a great change. But
Well, here's the other thing about this tech is he still fills out a sheet every week on how much labor hours he's produced, because he wants to make sure he's worth the money that we're paying him. It's unusual.
And
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna say. If like for any shop who was thinking about doing this, you have to be sure that you've been working with this guy for a while, and you know that he's like our tech. He's his main goal is to help the business. Like he will care if he's not getting paid enough time on repairing a dent, because and he'll put it into the words like, we need more. Like, even if it's a customer pay job, like, we need more because the shop needs to get paid. Like, if not, then the shop is losing money. So this guy cares very much so about how the business is doing, making sure that it's still up and running. It's got to be a guy that you trust if you're gonna put him on salary, because otherwise, who cares if you're getting an estimate and it doesn't have enough time? Like, it's not like that's how you're getting paid. So you can just do it, not ask for the supplement, loses the shop money, but you still get paid the same. You know what I'm saying? Like,
All right, so back to it's all about consistent maintenance. You can't let things go, even at the shop or even on your head. You've got to stay on top of what's going on and what's next. And I think you mentioned that one of your things that you're looking at is the training processes.
yeah,
Tell me
I
a little bit
find
more
that
about what you're doing about that.
just because in the body, or in the labor world in general, it's so hard to find, and the collision and mechanical especially, it's so hard to find an employee, an employee and retain them. And you have people who come and go, and it ends up wasting so much of your own time trying to train them. And I just think that if we can, instead of like, okay, labor force is thin right now. People want to get a job from home, have flexible hours, and being a physical job from 8 to 5 is really difficult to find now. But if you there's nothing you can really do about that. You can't change that. So my mindset is changing the job culture or atmosphere and making the workplace more enjoyable for someone, and make them want to stay, give them incentives. So instead of just like my generation right now, it's not about it's more about benefits of flexibility, benefits of it's not so much like, oh, retirement, oh, uh 401k. Like, it is, but also you have to think outside of the box. For work-life balance is a major benefit that people in my generation are look for in a job. They want to be happy. They want to not view work as work. That's not really possible to fully grasp that, but at the same time, you can make it more enjoyable here. You can give them more flexibility as long as they give you a certain amount of time. Like you can kind of go outside the box with benefits. And then also making the streamlining the training process. So instead of having someone at the shop just walk you through everything, like, no, here's an actual pamphlet. Here's what we want you to do the first week. Here's where you're going to, like, here's where you can park your car. Here's where, here's if you have any questions, like this is the person you go to, but like I want you to go through all of these steps. We'll walk you through the first month. We'll walk you through all of these job responsibilities, and then like from there we'll kind of build you up. Just because at a small body shop too, you're not really only doing one thing. You're wearing many hats. Like it's valuable to know how to do everything from ordering parts and writing estimates and whatnot. So just kind of having a structure where it doesn't waste so much of our time. Like they can sort of do things on their own, have SOPs, standard operating procedures for different scenarios. I'm right now working on a bunch of different SOPs just because even like what we have right now, it's very lenient, whereas like I think that some things need to be more structured and reliable for everyone communicating wise.
And how are you going about writing down those, or are you writing them down? Oh, I've got this vision of you sitting with a yellow Ticonderoga pencil on a piece of paper, and you're just kind of writing out step by step.
I had a procedure. In '84, I used to go to some seminars and stuff that were put on by 3M. And 3M put together this program where they produced a procedure program, for every aspect of the job. And it's a book about 4 inches thick, and it's incredible. My daughter's been taking that book and putting it on the computer system,
So
changing it.
there's a lot of stuff there. Then I have looked in online resources. I do use Notion. It's a free app, or not even app. It might be an app, but I just use it on my desktop. Notion.com. It's a little tricky. I've had to watch YouTube videos on how to properly use it, but it is a place where I can organize. Like I have a million thoughts at once, and then like something will come up and, oh, there's another standard operating procedure. So like I have this little section where I just write down my thoughts, like things that I want to get to at some point, and you can tag them. So like I'll put down my thought and then I'll tag SOP. So then I can go through and see, like, work on them all at the same time. And you got to find a template. So I just use like a basic template. I'm not too concerned about the template. That's something I can even do after the fact, like if I want to change it all up, but just to keep everything professional and whatnot. But yeah, ChatGPT. I'll plug some things into ChatGPT too. I'll just give them a bullet list of what I'm thinking, and then say use industry standards. Like I'll kind of give the ChatGPT. I'll give them a role. So I'll say like you're an automotive uh, shop owner with 20 years of experience. Um, just like, so they have a role and they are, I don't know, it makes what they spit out, more accurate and reliable. Yeah. 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 A Another tip, yeah, really quickly with ChatGPT, which I found to be helpful. I always end it with, "Ask me 5 questions before answering so that I know that you understand." And then they'll ask you 5 questions, you answer them, and there are things that you don't think about that they need to know, that ChatGPT needs to know, and then they'll spit out the answer after you give them the answers to their 5 questions. I get very frustrated with ChatGPT sometimes. It's a love-hate. I'll get mean on the keyboard. Oh, like, "No, you didn't listen to me." I've tried that, what is it, Gemini? Yeah, I'll get on waves where I'll go through and try something else. Um, there probably is something better out there, but it's part of my journey. So there is this other app that or Scribe. It's called Scribe, and I I have only played with it a little bit, but I'm just not ready to use it yet. But you can do a tutorial and Scribe will record everything, and then you can kind of like uh personalize or make edits after it so that but that I really like the idea of that just because it's more tailored directly to what you want. Whereas like there's other resources on CCC that if you go into the training uh homepage, it'll give you uh it'll give you PDFs on how to do something. So, for example, I just printed out something, and it's on the oh, it's in here. It's on the um, checklist documenting prior damage, which you can do on CCC. This one I found very helpful, so I printed it, and I'm not gonna alter it at all. But there's another one that's like for customizing your production schedule. And, that one I would not hand out because no one would really understand. And there's so many different ways to go about it that I would like it more tailored and easily understood if you were, employee training and you don't really know much about.
Well, let's go back to my 10-year-old for a second and how he said, "Dad, when it's time, I'm just going to get a video out there, a YouTube video," right?
Yeah.
So really why I asked about the video for part of the training manuals are, would this new generation of employees, this new wave of potential employees, would they prefer that PDF printout that you just kind of flashed up there, or would they prefer a 3-minute video outlining those things? And which way are they going to retain it better?
A video.
Yeah. Okay.
A video,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay.
That's not a bad idea because even giving them the PDF as a resource to have after they've watched, because when you're trying to do something and you watch the video, you're not gonna really. I would never go back on a video and rewatch it because you're always trying to like skip through and just find what you're looking for. Whereas that's where a PDF printout would be helpful. You kind of just
So you
go
have
to the
both.
part that you're stuck at and then read it.
So you have both, you're saying.
Yeah, that's
And
what, yeah.
now I
But
have done that with videos where I'll watch a part, I'll do that step, and then I will pause it, and then I will do that step, and then I'll play it, pause it, do that next step. And that's when I've actually messed around with trying to repair my own tractor. So so
for things like that, I understand. When you gotta figure out, okay, there's a brand new, it's a 2025, tail lamp isn't coming out, like a video is definitely, you want to be
right,
following a video rather than
right.
reading sentences off a piece of paper.
All right. So where are you going to go find these employees? So one of the topics that we've talked about trying to have for a future shop owners panel is what we're doing about the technician deficit in the industry. And I've come across some shop owners who are doing more to help the industry at large than just their shop, but they're doing some very interesting things as far as trying to find new people to bring into the space. So I find that to be, I'm hoping to bring those guys together and have that conversation. But I'm kind of curious, like, how are you going to go find this new wave of employees?
That is, I'd be open to suggestions, but I mean, we have LinkedIn
Okay.
has good, and then LinkedIn, and then there's, what's the main one that we use, Dad? Why can't I think of it?
Oh, for employees?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What's
We
the
used to
web?
put ads in the paper. Now you don't. Now you just go to Facebook or whatever.
Are you
Shit,
using
it's all
Indeed?
Something else.
Indeed.
Okay,
We've Indeed before, yeah.
but so my dad has also, and this might be where you're going from. He went to school at Alfred, and he like going back to Alfred to speak with like a class of upcoming
Mhm.
technicians, and saying just kind of like, if you're looking for a job, just get me.
There's also the WEMOCO, which is a lot of kids in high school. If they're not real good at sitting in a classroom, they can go to a WEMOCO, which is a program where they can go and you can go and work on the collision business, the mechanical business. You can do plumbing, heating. They have all these different sections where, so in high school, you might get out at 10 o'clock, jump on a bus, and they take you to the school where all they're doing is trades, and you'll spend 4 hours there, then bus you back to school at the end of the day, and then you go home from there.
And that
So they'll do
that was remote co.
WEMOCO. It's WOMCO, I think. I'm not sure. Hey, Lorraine, what's WEMOCO stand for? It's a school that's used for basically training, hands-on trades, doing different trades and stuff. And so one of the trades they do there is the automotive. They do collision and mechanical. Yep. There's a couple of schools in Rochester. I would think they'd have them in every district, be honest with you. It seems to be the kids that have a lot of ADD and can't sit still in school. Well, well, what I've done in the past, I always knew the teachers and stuff. Of course, the teachers I knew retired, but I'd go over there and help grade some class. He'd have some tests and stuff. I'd go and help grade some of the items he was doing with the kids, and I'd sit and talk with the kids. I'd stop over right now and then just say hello and see what he got and stuff like that. So, and it's the same thing with going down to Alfred State College. Would be going down there and meet with the students and spending the day just, talking with them and stuff about work. And problem with the college is I find that most of the kids in college already they're motivated and doing stuff already. And most of them already have jobs lined up before they're even out of school, before they even went into school. So that's why it's hard. So you really gotta just talk to people and find some friends or whatever. Have some kids that aren't really going to go to school and are looking for something else to do or whatever. I mean, it's hard. It's not. It's even the Indeed process
Oh,
is tricky. I mean,
you get some wild applications.
Yeah, I'm aware,
Western
and I appreciate they're at least filling out the applications as well.
here's so Moco. Can you see that?
Nope, put it in front of the camera.
I am trying to figure out where it is.
Yeah, right there.
WEMOCO. Okay, got it.
and it's Western Monroe County School, something like that. I don't know, but
Western Monroe or Link.
Spencerport, New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Dad, you're good.
All right. So that's yeah, we probably could benefit to have more of those programs across the country.
I would think so.
Like them, I guess, to see how we can do more of that. Okay. All right, good. So we've talked about training. We've talked about, we didn't talk a little bit. You've talked about the beginning part of the journey, and then we kind of skipped pretty quickly to the very end. What was it like in the, let's go back let's go back 25 years ago. What was it like at the end of the 90s, beginning of the 2000s? What was business like then?
That's crazy. When it was fun, I had a lot more fun then.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It was a lot simpler. I mean, all this technology stuff is just overwhelming.
Insurance,
Yeah,
making
I mean everything is so
work and everything's virtual.
a lot. I will tell you that being virtual is a lot. It's a lot easier to work with insurance companies, all right? But they keep jerking you around. You just got to keep going back after them. You send them something, they cut half it out, send it back to you like you're an idiot, and don't realize it. So then you gotta re-enter everything that they cut out, send it again. You send it 2 or 3 times, and you finally you email them like, "Let me talk to your supervisor or something. What is going on?" I mean, so it can be frustrating. I think they're told, cut out half the stuff they're asking for and send it back to them, and see if he'll send it back to you with what we cut out. I don't get it. They just make it difficult for themselves and for the shop owners, and I think they do it on purpose, just because after a while, you're like, oh my God, I guess I just give up after a while. Is what they're hoping you'll do.
I think they are. But I think what will happen is more and more people will, I don't know, maybe they'll start self-insuring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder how that would pull it off.
The big companies like RG&E, Rochester Gas and Electric, the big companies in town, most of them are self-insured. So they'll send over a lot of things to me and I'll fix them. I know they're self-insured. And because of that, I really try and take care of them because I don't want to gouge them because they're feed me all the work. So I really go out of my way to try and give them the best deal I can so that they keep coming back. And the fact that they're every now and then they'll get hit. And so then I have to work with an insurance company. But most of the time, they're self-insured if it's, and they make a decision whether they're going to turn it into insurance or pay out of pocket.
And so they've got a ridiculously high deductible, is basically what it comes down to, right?
Yep.
And so they're self-insured for that first large deductible.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. And maybe that is the approach, is that you just get catastrophic style insurance. That'd be an interesting market to open up. Okay. So, does the software that you use for the collision side help you with the repair side? How usable is it? Because it's mostly
very
collision.
poor. Yeah, it's very poor when it comes to mechanical. So we've got ALLDATA that we use to compensate for the mechanical, like labor times are more accurate with ALLDATA. And then ALLDATA also recently, I don't know if it's just we updated ours and started paying more for the collision repair aspect of it, but you can export your CCC estimate through CCC to ALLDATA, and then you go onto ALLDATA and there's under the collision repair part, or collision repair planner, I think it's called. And the vehicle and the entire estimate will pop up on there. And then it is a little tricky. You kind of have to know what you're looking for,
Why
but
not
it'll,
just go with all data? Because like they also are a collision software.
we
They're an
we
information company. I don't think ALLDATA is not a estimating based company.
So
They
with
just
with CCC, we benefit from we order parts through CCC. You don't always have to call, and then you every invoice we get, we input it into CCC so that you can anyone from any computer can tell. Okay, all the parts are here. Okay, oh, not all the parts are here. What's missing? Um, with CCC, we have the notes section for each repair order.
Mhm.
We have
CCC is it's a management system.
you could scan a VIN number with your phone through the CCC app, and it'll automatically just update or pull up that vehicle,
Okay.
and it'll even with AI right now, it's starting to write half of the estimate for you. So there are a lot of other reasons that we use CCC, and it's definitely beneficial. I would not want to take away CCC from our.
It's interesting. You said about how the AI is writing some of the estimates.
Oh,
Are you able to? Are you able to? It's overwhelming to think about, right,
Yeah.
Alan? It is for me
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're saying like right now that if you get hooked up with AI, it's like 98% accurate. I don't know if that's true or not, but
That's coming from the AI, and they're
yeah.
self promoting itself. So,
Yeah.
but can you? Uh, so with ChatGPT, you can actually have it compose documents with a particular voice. I don't know if you've played with that or not.
With a particular voice.
So you can say, I need to write this document, but I need it to sound like President Donald Trump. Right. And so you can do that, and it actually will
Yeah.
come back. It'll use the word huge a lot.
Yeah.
And so, or whatever the case may be. So, and I just threw that out as an obvious, well-known example of someone who's in the face of the media all the time. And, but you could
It has
actually
a
go,
particular way
yeah,
of going about things.
that's right. And so, so I'm wondering if you can also do that with the AI in your estimates. Please use local vernacular when creating this estimate, right? Because people talk differently in Philly versus Rochester versus Austin, Texas.
Oh yeah.
I'll do that for predefined notes.
Okay.
So this is actually something that, because if insurance companies need reasoning for anything that is on an estimate, like prime and block or denib and polish or pre-scan, post-scan, whatever it may be. If I write into ChatGPT, make a predefined note for a estimate line that says prime and block, make it use technical language using OEM procedures and standards, and also, and it's meant to prove to an insurance company why we need this. And it'll send like it'll send this whole thing, and it'll give me the sources like of the OEM position statements or whatnot. And so I do verify it before I just go and copy and paste. But
you said a bunch of things there that I want to point out. We mentioned using ChatGPT or AI to help craft some of the documentation or processes or training manuals. And what you really needed to hear was you don't just go and use ChatGPT. You have to learn how to, and Shanley is a great example of how to actually do those prompts, how to handle those prompts to get it dialed into what you really need. And then even after that, you can't just assume it's perfect. You do need to kind of quickly review it and potentially humanize it, depending on what it's for. And so those are two really key points. It's inputs and outputs that you have to kind of oversee. And some people are going to say, well, it's just faster for me to type it. I doubt it, but maybe. But it is, it's something that you need to learn how to use, right? So that's a good. I just wanted to kind of point that out, that you're obviously already doing that. All right. So we talked about, I think before we actually started recording, we talked about getting customers just from word of mouth. Has that proven to be a steady way to make sure that you have a steady stream of customers on both the repair and the collision side on an ongoing basis?
Yes. We do very, very little in the marketing aspect. That's something that is on my future to-do list, is like starting to be more active on social media. And just because you have to in today's day and age. And especially like the customer base that I want to target is the people who really don't know what to do, because we want to help them. We want to, like, people who don't know about cars are very vulnerable, and they feel vulnerable, and they feel like they hate going into a body shop or a mechanical repair shop. So, like, kind of putting it out there that this is who we are, to bring in more that customer base, but also kind of define our reputation, like make it so like, hey, we're not just this old timer rundown shop. Like we're on top of it. We know what we're doing, but also giving like the family aspect, not making it like super professional, but just like having fun, like
Right.
showing our culture,
Yes.
our family
Okay.
connection.
But the ultimate goal is to bring in an additional wave of customers. So are you looking to grow, or are you looking to maintain?
I'm looking
Always grow.
Always grow.
Always.
looking to grow. I think that my dad was maintaining.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why I
But
brought Shanley. That's why Shanley came in.
but my goal, I'm a very big like entrepreneur. I can't do things that I know there's a more efficient way of doing it. So I definitely want to grow.
Okay.
Hey, I gotta run.
That's fine. Alan, thank you for taking the time that you've taken so far. So I appreciate it.
We'll do this again.
Happy to. Do you want to talk? Do you want to be on the politics panel, or?
I should get my brother involved in that.
Oh,
no,
yeah?
gosh, no.
Okay.
He's a history buff.
Oh, okay. All right.
My dad would love to be on the politics podcast.
Yeah.
Just
I'm
to
trying
vent
to
some
gauge-
things out.
I'm trying to gauge how whether that's how Alan feels about that. But okay. All right. So all right. Well, I'll let you get back to things. Again, Alan, don't turn off your computer just yet. All right.
Yeah.
And then and actually, why don't I do this real quick? I'll tell the team to cut out the last 30 seconds or 60 seconds, and let me, while you're still on screen, why don't I actually end with a closing so they can have a nice end button before you close off. Okay, so give me like 30 seconds, Alan. You ready? All right.
What kind of?
Just stand there.
So here's what I do, Alan. At the end of these podcasts, I always say, Alan and Shanley, thank you for joining us from Austin Spencer, Rochester, New York. I appreciate it, the time. I think it's going to be insightful for people who are thinking about their training processes and those types of things. And if you are looking to grow, as they just stated, they are also looking to grow, then you're in the right spot, because here at the Garage Grid Podcast, we're trying to help as many shops as possible develop their shop, grow their shops. And speaking of that, also on the aashopmarketing.com side, that is the sponsor for this podcast.
we have the exact same attitude over there as well about trying to help as many shops as possible grow, develop. I personally think that small businesses are the backbone of the U.S. economy, and so I want to continue to be a part of that. And so, but both of you, thank you for attending. Thank you for being on this podcast. I appreciate your time.